Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Manash. This is the weekend edition where we interview notable people from the world of real estate investing. Today's no exception. We have a great guest, but first a quick thank you to our sponsor. The Real Estate Espresso Podcast is brought to you by International Coffee Farms. International Coffee Farms grows and sells specialty coffee in Boquete, Panama. They now have 11 fully operational coffee farms, and they are 100% sold out. They are accepting reservations for farm number 12. The idea of owning a safe, diversified offshore investment is intriguing to you. Check out International Coffee Farms at internationalcoffeefarms.com. That's internationalcoffeefarms.com. We are back. Here on the weekend edition, we have a great guest today. He's an educator. He's a podcast host. He's a multifamily syndicator all the way from Virginia. Welcome to the show, Whitney Sewell.
Thank you very much, Victor. Pleasure to be here.
Well, Whitney, you and I have got to know each other a little bit over the last little while, and but most of the listeners may not know you. You're the host of the daily Real Estate Syndication Show. So if they haven't heard you on the show, maybe give a little bit of your background, how you got into the world of real estate investing. Give us a bit of your origin story.
Of course. So started out, I was in the military and had law enforcement, and pretty quickly I found that as much as I enjoyed law enforcement with Kentucky State Police, it was going to be difficult to pay the bills. There wasn't much room for advancement or to make any more money, and guys were retiring making less than $40,000 a year after 25 years of service. And so I found that I've got to find something else to supplement income, and in came real estate. And so started doing lots of research, quickly purchased a couple triplexes in Kentucky and a little town we lived in, and actually had raised some money for that and had no idea what I was doing. I look back and I think, what in the world was the bank thinking? Why did they allow us to do that? But it was a great learning experience, and thankfully we didn't lose any money, but the investor made everything he was promised. But we learned a lot, and it helped us just kind of get the bug for real estate, and then later on purchased a 15 unit and just found out that I really wanted to scale this and wanted to grow this business. And so I started learning about the syndication business and what that entailed, and meeting people, networking. And I mean, that's a satellite image view of the whole process, but then, learned about starting a thought leadership platform. And that's why, started obviously the podcast and just helping to network and provide content and value to everybody in the syndication business. And so now I'm focusing on raising capital and partnering with guys in the business who have the best track records that have the deals. So
fast forward to today, you're, if I understand, focused on multifamily. Tell us a little bit about your current project.
Yes, so we closed on a deal about a week and a half ago in Dallas, Fort Worth, Holtom City. It was a 398 unit. It's a value add B. It's a B minus property, B to B plus, or hopefully will be B plus to A minus time we're done. But we're the plan is to renovate every unit, and there's about an average of $320 loss to lease per unit compared to the other properties around. And so we tried to be very conservative and projecting just $150 increase, but anyway, it was the largest property I've ever been a part of, and it's been a great learning experience, and like I said, the focus was finding that team that had the boots on the ground and much better knowledge and experience than I have, but especially of the market, that specific market and those properties in that area. And so that's how I got into this deal, was finding somebody that I trusted, and obviously trusting their background and their experience, and then learning about the deal myself and presenting it to the investors that I've built relationships with, over the last year or so.
Well, so for the people who don't know where Holtom City is, it's in the northeast quadrant of Fort Worth, kind of sandwiched between Dallas-Fort Worth Airport and Fort Worth itself. What else is going on in that particular area? I mean, it's an area that I think is a bit up and coming. I haven't been there in a little while, but the last time I drove through there, it was a little bit of an up and coming area. Tell us a bit more about the property and why this particular project made sense.
So, with my business specifically, I'm focused on raising capital. So initially it was the team more so than even the property. But the team, this is, there are more than 4,000 units in this market, in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. And, it's like their 20th acquisition there. And just great performance, great track record. So, I trusted that. I knew that, that they were very prepared and to operate this deal just like they had others. And but Dallas-Fort Worth, expected rent growth expected to be 5.9% in 2018. It's expected to outperform other parts of Dallas in some areas or in some ways. And it's just massive growth there. I was just really impressed, and I can't remember all the details of Dallas-Fort Worth, but I was very impressed with the market there and just the this specific sub-market also, and the way it laid out in Dallas-Fort Worth and compared to even Dallas. And I just think it's going to be a great investment long-term and for my investors. And
if I understand correctly, this was a relatively new property. I was surprised to hear that it was a value add on a complex that was so new. What happened there?
So the property hadn't been updated. It was a 2001 build. It did have a roof a couple years ago, but that's really the only thing that's been done to it. And so as far as if you walk into properties surrounding there, and then you walk into this property, it's obvious that it's behind. As far as the other surrounding properties, like I think I've mentioned, an average of $320 loss to lease, on average per unit, and so. It was just no remodeling, just still the same original everything. And so, really quickly they're going to, we're going to do major remodeling, major upgrades and to improve the property and exterior painting and just to bring more life to the property and bring it up to the scale of the surrounding properties.
And one of the criticisms I hear about today's marketplace is there just are no deals. It's impossible to find deals. They're too expensive. They always show up as an auction, and there's 20 offers on every property. How were you able to get this tied up and get it tied up at a reasonable price?
So that again was the team. It was their experience, their track record, and I'm not taking credit for being able to land the deal initially or find it, because it was really their track record, and the way that I benefited from that was just knowing them, and obviously my thing that I brought to the deal was the capital, and so that was how I got into the deal. But this team was the one that has the track record. They knew the sellers. They knew very good broker relationships there, and it's so competitive in Dallas and Fort Worth that I'm not planning to go there, not right now anyway, and start finding properties, and why, when there's already, this team in place that has those relationships established and boots on the ground.
One of the things we talk about often on the podcast is that this business, like any business, is a team sport. Real estate and real estate investing is a team sport. And so, it's great to hear you just validate that over and over again. You can't be an expert at everything. You've got to be the one, stay in your lane and focus the one thing that you're good at, and then rely on the other folks that are great at what they do. To talk about maybe a little bit of makeup of the team, some of the skills that are around you that make this whole venture successful.
So the team specifically, initially there's numerous people who are on the money raising side, because this is a large deal. It was a $21.5 million equity raise, and but boots on the ground is really this. The management company has worked with this team and many times, like I think on 18 different deals now at least, approximately, and so they just they've done this so many times together. They have worked on they've worked together many times, and it is it's just a well-oiled machine almost now. But as far as they're set up well as far as somebody that's focused on asset management, focused in the market, focused on finding the properties and those relationships, and while there's others that are focused on the capital raising side, and then that's that. Like you said, it's just everybody knows their role, everybody knows their role they're playing, and so we can be specifically focused on that and do a lot better job at it, I believe.
That's awesome. If folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
LifeBridgeCapital.com. lifebridgecapital.com, or you can reach me at Whitney, WHITNEY, at lifebridgecapital.com, or obviously you can find our podcast, the Real Estate Syndication Show. It's a daily show where I'm interviewing experts just like Victor in the syndication business, and asking them how they operate, how they grow, what they do every day to get to the success that they've had.
Well, you and I are part of a rare breed in that there are very few people having a daily show. What gave you the impetus to put up a daily show?
Why not? Just wanted to provide as much content as possible, and that gives me 7 shows a week compared to everybody else that's just doing one. So I just wanted to do as many as I could and go big or go home.
I love that. Well, Whitney, great to catch up with you. I can't wait till we meet again at the next event. In the meantime, for the listeners at home, reach out to Whitney at lifebridgecapital.com and check out the Real Estate Syndication Show. In the meantime, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.